Hi there, and welcome to your tour of my van, Vanna White. I just thought I'd make this video to share it with renters to sort of expedite the checkout process and just to give you an overview of the van in case for some reason I'm not available to check it out to you. So I thought this would be a nice little way to give you a tour of the van. So come with me. I designed and built Vanna from scratch. This was a friend of mine's work van, and I bought it from him sort of right when COVID started, and it was my COVID project. I actually built it on the side of the street in front of my place here in Seattle. And yeah, I designed and built everything. I probably built everything in here 2, sometimes 3 times, because I was figuring a lot of this out along the way. First thing I'll point out is there is an awning here that can cover up the cooking area. We do live in the Pacific Northwest, so it gets a little rainy. You can open this door extra wide by pushing this button. The lights are all hardwired to a battery, which I'll get to here in a minute. But as you can see, here's the switch. Nice bright cooking lights. You can also back up to a campsite and use those to gather firewood and so forth. So that turns off right here. We've got a 12-volt plug right here, so you can plug in a cigarette lighter style adapter to that. And then there's a USB port here. I should point out this 12-volt goes directly to the car battery. So if you do use that for, say, the shower, you're just going to want to be sure you are aware of how much power you're drawing so you don't drain the car battery. Underneath the bed here, there are window coverings. Those can all be magnetized to each of the windows. And then I'll go ahead and pull these out. Basically for the drawers, there's a blue lever here on either side, and you just lift that up to pull the drawers out. Drawers are out, locks in place. Here you can see how you would lower this little table. There are 2 of those you have to push in to move the table down, lock it into place. Then inside here we have our French coffee press, which has been put on the gas stove multiple times. I'd love it if you did not burn it anymore. It's a French press, so you just put coffee grounds in there, add boiling water, and let it sit for about 5 minutes, and then push this plunger down to make your coffee. Pretty easy, I thought, but apparently not. If you could just wash any dishes that you use before you bring them back, that is fantastic. I don't want to end up having to clean up all your spaghetti mess, and so I'm gonna you do have to impose a fee if it comes back with dirty dishes. So if you could just clean those, that would be great. I do run them through the dishwasher every time the van comes back, so rest assured everything is clean when you check it out. Got some mugs, cups in there, and so forth. 2 nice, clean, quick dry towels for you. Cutting boards, garbage bags, games, tools, band-aids, blah blah blah. There's a lot of stuff in here. I'll let you go ahead and explore this box, but it's kind of the odds and ends junk drawer. Back here, I've got, this is a footprint for a tent, and I have 2 of them in here. And basically those are kind of just multi-use. They could be a sun shelter. If it's raining really hard, coming down sideways, you could use those, attach them to the awning, and maybe add a little more coverage for yourself. We've also got a shovel in here, extra fuel, TP, some newspaper to start fires. There's also stakes for the awning, a hatchet. Please don't cut your hand off. This is an electric shower, and I don't think anyone's used it, frankly, but it's pretty cool. It's all charged up. I would recommend just filling this bag up with some cold water, boiling a pot of hot water, and mixing them together so you have some nice warm water, and then you got yourself a shower. This gets submerged in the shower water. You just hold that button down and there's the water pump going. Turn that off. If you need to charge it, I believe you unscrew this part, take this piece out, and it's a USB charge to recharge it should you need to. Obviously, you know, it's a little bit of a choose your own adventure as far as how you want to take a shower. There's clearly no coverage here, so you can either wear a swimsuit or just, you know, go for it. Also in here, this is a bug net that I made. So, you know, it fits pretty well, but you can see the snaps here. They just snap right along the interior of the van. Just thought I'd show you what the bug net looks like when it's all set up. This was one of my first sewing projects, so it's a little sloppy, but it does the job. I would recommend, if you're cooking or if you have the lights or the doors open, I would turn the lights off, because as you can imagine, every single insect in the whole vicinity is going to, you know, try to get their way in there. Oops, I didn't snap those, but you get the idea. There's the button. Okay, continuing our tour, I'm going to open up the next drawer. I've already unlatched these. It's a cinema secret. Be prepared by not having to put the phone in your mouth to open the drawers. So once again, we've got a flip up table. You know how that works. In here, we've got some odds and ends like storage bags, paper towels. There's a little kind of a kitchen sink that you can use. If you should so choose, please return that clean if you could. In here, we've got pots and pans, some spices. Here we've got your soft cooler. I'm going to put a link to how to operate the Coleman stove in the description. But one thing I would ask is that you please make sure these wind screens are in the proper place and latched, because I did have a renter who burnt part of the van, and I think it was because these were not up. Use this, but basically you screw the propane into here, have this all open, windscreens up. You're going to want to slowly turn the gas on while you have a lighter lit and the flame next to the burner. So pretty easy. I would recommend unscrewing this when you're driving around. Propane is, you know, pretty flammable. If you should happen to mess up the lighting, what I would recommend is that you just kind of let it air out for a minute and try it again. You got some games, charging cords, little USB speaker. I've had some gals travel alone in the van, so I put this pepper spray in here. I admit it expired about 8 years ago, but I just tested it and it works fine. I didn't test it on myself. Over here we've got your cute welcome package. Please feel free to use these face towels as you like, and I just wash those every time somebody rents. We've got some books in here. This is how the lights and USB ports all operate. Here's another USB port. There's also one right over there. The lights are on a dimmer switch. You can see we got 4 lights back here, all on a dimmer. They can turn off and on. These lights I have rewired into the car, so those are the lights that turn on when the car is on. Those can be operated right here. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. It's a little remote control. Controls the mood lights you can have on while you're enjoying the van. You can change the colors using the remote. There's a little sensor in here that picks up on the remote control, so that is how you change the different colors. You can also turn that off by pointing it over in this direction and pressing the power button. Excuse my exposed wire up there, but you can't see it from the bed. Next thing I'll show you here is the fan. Pretty easy to operate, but right here what you have is which direction the wind is going to be blowing. So if you want the wind blowing out, push it that way. If you want the wind blowing in, push it this way. To use the fan, you've got to open this latch by spinning this dial. And then you got your different speeds here, 3 speeds max. There we go. That's how the fan works. That's how you can reverse the directions. I would ask, if you do decide to switch directions, let the fan sort of power down before you change it to the other way. Again, closing this actually turns off the fan, but also just kind of make sure you have that closed before you start driving, if you think of it. So you can open your sodas, stuff. Plenty of room for storage under here. There's a blanket, window shade. I've also got sort of some of the important, you know, sort of van stuff in here that is more on the mechanical side. This is a battery that you can utilize to charge or to jump the car should you need to. This is a pump for the tires. There's some straps in there as well. Okay, you get the idea. Another feature of the van is this sort of secret hidden compartment under the bed. And that lifts up. There's a backpack in here that you can use. There's a bunch of freebies that I got from a medical convention. Feel free to use those. As far as the water bottles go, if you use those, they're yours to keep. That's a parting gift. I'm not going to clean those and reuse them. This can also turn into sort of a couch by adjusting this cam strap to the desired level. Now there's another one on the other side. I'd ask that you adjust both of those so the weight is distributed evenly on both of them. But this way you get kind of a, you know, Sealy Posturepedic, sit in the bed and enjoy your coffee kind of a situation. To put that down, you just push this button in and that releases the strap. As far as the power source, I have this Goal Zero battery, which is awesome. And this powers the entire thing. Basically, this is a 12-volt plug that winds around the car and plugs in right there. I'd ask that you keep that plugged in just because it charges while you're driving. I haven't messed with solar or anything like that because this works and the battery is generally at about 100% all the time. I have yet to run out of power, so it works great. This plug here goes to a fuse panel back here, and that is where all of the lights and USB ports all go. So if you're having trouble with getting the lights to go on, or there are any issues, make sure that this is plugged in. Make sure that this green light is on. Those are both connected and on, and the lights are not working, give me a call. To use any one of these features, like the 120 volt, so you can, you know, plug in your laptop or something like that, you have to push the button to turn it on. So right now, the power inverter is on. This is a 1500 watt power inverter. It's pure sine, so you can plug in sort of delicate electronics and it'll still work. You can see, interestingly, the inverter actually takes up power on its own, so I'd recommend keeping that off if you don't need to be using it. You can watch that number change. Basically what you have here, and you can mess with this, it's kind of fun, but you can see what kind of power is being drawn by the different electronics in the van. And if I, you know, turn these lights on, you can see that they go up to 0.5 amps. So we've got 100 hours until it's empty. There is the light off. So it's kind of cool. It gives you an idea how much power you have left, just something to pay attention to. I think that's about it on the battery. Here's a 3-gallon water jug. This should be full when you arrive. Just make sure, you can see this outline of a circle here. That is this way when the water is turned on. Make sure it's facing out if you could, because we don't want water to drip all over the inside of the van. Down here behind the passenger seat, we've got some fold-out chairs. There's some gloves. The jack for the car is back here as well, should you need it. There's the Washington Gazetteer, which has all kind of maps in it and can show you different places to go camp on Forest Service roads. Anything you would expect to find in the glove box is in the glove box, including the registration and insurance card if you get pulled over. I've also got up here the Vanna White van manual. So if you have any questions, just about everything you can think of is in here. Just while I'm up here, I'll point out that the stereo has 2 different ports you can plug into. This top one that this USB is plugged into now connects to the stereo. And when you plug your phone in with that, it'll give you Apple Maps and all that. The one below it is only charging. And the one below that, I'm not even sure if it works. Okay, I swear the tour is almost over. I'll just give you a view of the water here. Take a little break. Give you a breather. It is pretty out. Okay. Finishing the boring stuff. I've got a park pass here for parks that require the Discover Pass. Coming up into the driver's seat, I'm going to show you a couple things. One, this yellow light is the check air pressure light on the van. It's always on, but I just had the car serviced. I just had the tires checked, had them rotated, and that's on. So just so you know, that's always going to be on. If you're concerned about it, there's a check tire pressure gauge in the glove box, and there's the device in the back to pump up the tires, air up the tires. One thing you'll notice, the stereo is on. If you have the lights on, the stereo dims. If you have this dimmer switch turned down, the stereo flips out. So that's when this is moved down. To stop it, move it all the way up, and it stopped. So down, freaking out, up, normal. Up here I've got a couple extra blankets. There's a first aid kit. There's also a carbon monoxide detector. The last thing I want to show you, because this is kind of a mystery. Most of the time with Outdoorsy, you get roadside assistance. But if you should need to get into under the hood, I'm gonna flip this over, insert the key, as the diagram shows, turn counterclockwise, then turn clockwise, then then lift. I can't do it with one hand. Then lift. There you go. So on that same note, if you should need to get to the spare tire, this little piece of carpet comes up. The jack and stuff's underneath, is behind the passenger seat near the floor. You need to put part of that in there and lower the tire, which is down here. Pretty much everybody gets roadside assistance, so if I were you, I would not mess with it. I would just let the roadside assistance people take care of it. So I hope you enjoyed the tour of Vanna. Again, if you have any questions, just feel free to get in touch. As a renter, you have my contact information. If there's anything that you're having problems with, if anything feels like it's not working, if for some reason you can't find something, don't get carried away, but feel free to get in touch with me. I'd much rather have you send me a quick text or give me a phone call, or we can do a quick FaceTime or some other kind of video call, and I can walk you through how something works. I'd much rather have you enjoy your trip and not stress out about something. I'd also prefer that you don't break something in the van by trying to force it into place if it doesn't want to work. So again, just feel free to reach out to me, give me a call, get in touch with me any way you like. Woo! And I can't think of anything else. I think I covered everything. So I appreciate you watching the video. Give it a like, give it a thumbs up, or don't. I don't care.